In the past few years, the numbers for single-person households, people claiming they have no close friends, as well as people having no sex at all have been going up tremendously. There is a clear trend towards being more lonely, and nowadays people are struggling to build human connections to others, probably even more than ever before. And this has been going on for a few years now and has only been further fueled by the COVID-19 crisis. The loneliness epidemic is still going on, and one might ask himself, will society ever get less lonely again? So let me introduce you to some interesting things I found out when researching on this topic in the past few weeks. And spoiler alert, unfortunately our situation is not really looking that good. Now first, let's take a look at this BBC survey. 40% of the general public aged 16 to 24 admit they feel lonely often or very often. Additionally, people nowadays have less friends than just a few years ago, which obviously is likely to lead towards more loneliness. Now this trend has surely been fired up by the following thing: social media, because it definitely can create a false sense of connection and belonging that doesn't make you feel truly connected and belonged, or surely not in the long run. Now this study shows that social media use can lead to heightened risks of psychological and mental health issues, including loneliness, depression, and suicide. Now one antithesis that comes to mind here is this: we are the most connected society there ever was, yet we feel the most disconnected from each other. Yes, we can chat, comment, share memes, and even have video calls, but how much does that really connect us? What's more, online dating. Let's talk about this one. This should be a wonderful invention to fight loneliness and help finding your significant other. Yet the number of sexless men has tripled in the last 10 years, just about when Tinder was introduced. Coincidence?
I doubt it.
Today, and probably partly because of that, more and more people are living in single households in the US. Now on the surface level, is that so bad? I don't know. Is that contributing to more loneliness? Perhaps. Probably even. Americans spend 90% of their time indoors. Most of that probably at home, and as we learned now, therefore alone. And if you thought now, well, but they are at work too, right? And that's a lot of time spent indoors. Yes, you're right, partly, because also the number of people working from home has tripled from 2019 to 2021. And about 20% of people now work from home. This does not have to lead to more loneliness, but I think it doesn't help to prevent it either. So people are at home, alone, with less friends, less real-life connections, less sex, less committed partnerships, if at all. So I guess you kinda understand the situation now.
It's not looking good, Bev.
But why should we really care? Is it really that important? And what if we don't? Well, personally, I don't like to force anything on anyone, but there are a few things in this world that one, or we as a society, should do something about. And in my profound opinion, this trend towards more loneliness surely is one of them. Let me explain. While there are a lot of things that can make people have suicidal feelings, loneliness and isolation surely is one of them, and a big one. In 2020, the year of isolation and loneliness, in the US alone, there were 1.2 million suicide attempts. Anything to do with isolation and loneliness? I leave that up to you. Also, loneliness and social isolation are associated with increased blood pressure, higher cholesterol levels, decreases in cognitive abilities, and if that wasn't bad enough, depression of course too. Now if you are on the internet a bit, you might also have seen or participated in the hype of movies which portray a character, literally me, who is also very lonely and misunderstood. Are these the relatable characters that we want to identify ourselves with? Or does this simply show how many people are living an unfulfilling and lonely life?
Hi, Pat Bateman.
Another thing, sexlessness. I've touched on this previously. I've told you that the number of sexless men has tripled in 10 years. And while I don't advocate for sleeping around, but more and more sexless men, is that a good thing? I leave that up to you. And also the numbers for women seem to slowly go up too. Adding to that, people in the US are not in a committed relationship anymore. People are not marrying anymore, and birth rates are going down too. Again, is that so bad? I leave it up to you. But there is no denying that we as humans are social creatures and we need companionship. There is a difference between being lonely and being alone. Yes, maybe you want to be alone, but you don't want to be lonely. Alright, so I'm editing this right now and I continued the video talking about what you can do to deal with your own loneliness, but I thought that's not what the video is about. So I had to cut that out and there will be a separate video about this. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely subscribe and we will continue with the underlying question. Will society ever get less lonely again? I'm still learning about all this and I can only share some thoughts from my noob experience. So first, let's go back to the roots. Why does loneliness feel so bad? We didn't survive alone. We needed our tribe. We couldn't make it alone, reproduce alone, and we didn't flourish alone. So I would assume loneliness does feel so bad because of our evolution. Now we as humans have always adapted, and I think if we stay lonely for long enough, and that might take thousands of years, we might not feel the need to socialize and companionship and all that any longer. And that is because then we will be able to take care of ourselves. We don't need a tribe to survive. We live in a time where survival is not challenged and basically a given. And when we move to a world where we don't need sex any longer to produce kids, why would we need to socialize? Why would we need the exhaustion and struggles of going on dates, getting ghosted, getting rejected? And that might even come sooner than you think. A few weeks ago I watched the movie Her, which is about a guy dating an AI.
Oh my god, bro.
Which I feel might become reality very soon. How soon? I don't know. And honestly, all that I just said about how we can adapt, no longer feel the need for companionship and belonging, I don't think that's good, okay? But I think that's quite a realistic approach to it. I think that's bad for the development of humans, but I wouldn't say it's unrealistic. So that's all I know. But again, that might take thousands of years. So for now, do something about your loneliness. Because I hope we all agree that as current state of humanity, loneliness is damaging us and we need to do something against it. And you can do that for your own life. So I hope you take action and I hope your life will improve very soon. And with that, I can help you. So definitely feel free to subscribe and then maybe I'll see you in the next video. Bye!